How about that? How about that? Until it falls over here. Alright. Well, woo. Just another Thursday. Windy Thursday. Leaving the job. About to go pick up the crazy girls. Not crazy, just full of energy and not knowing what day it is and enjoying every ounce of that. I'm sure. And today I went for a little jog in the morning. I should have I was up early and I should have and could have worked an hour or two, but I just did not feel like it. So I gotta make it up tonight after everybody goes to bed. Some days you just fall off your little routine. And routines gets difficult to maintain. I also think one thing that's difficult to maintain about a routine is that it doesn't change, so it can get a little bit boring, in my opinion. And as soon as you start faltering a little bit, then you start faltering a little bit more. And I think I was talking about this last time, but it's hard, I guess, just to discipline yourself. And I mean, I've proven I can do it for a few days and maybe a few weeks and maybe a few months, but to really make a solid change, I've heard and I'm starting to notice it's got to be long-term dedication to that, which sounds like you're starting to knock on parts of years. So for me, I guess if I could hold on to one discipline for 3 months, that would be a good goal. Like, I think a goal for me personally for the upcoming season is to have a written practice plan before each practice that I'll send to all of my coaches the night before. And that sounds pretty doable, because really you kind of build off the day before, or what's kind of not working out, or what your weaknesses are. Gosh, it would be nice though to have an entire season planned out that you could then edit as the days go by. And I always kind of dream about that, about just having it all set up, and then you just grab the next paper from the binder and just do it. But I never get around to doing it. Like, we've been talking about having a binder of drills that you can just hand off to your lower level coaches that they can execute. And I started a document years ago of just every drill that I run, and just started to jot it down and explain it. And now that I think about it, I think I have it on a different computer at this point. I don't know where it is. Not that I can't recreate it again, but it kind of hit me a few years ago, I think, which is kind of when I kind of bailed out of written practice plans, was hello, goodbye. There's really, when you think about it, you really only utilize a couple core drills and practices, at least I do, and then I just keep rinsing those and reusing them and adding little stuff that we want to work on within. And I still think that's probably the genesis of a lot of coaches. Practice plans is what they deem is most important. But now just saying that out loud, it sounds like a terrible practice. Like there's no variety and there's no real. You're not asking them. You're not challenging them mentally very much. So perhaps challenging myself mentally just to have a practice plan, a written out practice plan the night before I go to bed that I've sent to the other coaches. That'll probably keep me accountable, and I don't know. I mean, who's to say we can't always adjust it on the fly, which we do. I know I've never done it because it's a lot of work. And it just seems like it would be so much more rewarding too. And I never really thought as much of how it comes across as I was just considering what was easiest for me. So that would be a good practice to incorporate this year for myself. And if we're talking banners for this school, for this program led by me, it's not going to happen unless I can discipline my own schedule so that I can work in extra practice reps outside of the season, which I touched on briefly in the last video. But I haven't really brought that together. One season, I want to say it was like 2019 or 2020, I was doing some morning practices, which I want to say I kind of made optional, but I was doing like Fridays before school pretty early, like 6 a.m. Outside of before the school year started, and I would get anywhere from 1 to sometimes 6 dudes, which was beneficial, I'd say. And last year I was doing it a little like 7:45 to like 9 or so, a couple days a week in the beginning of the year. But no one was really too consistent coming to that, and it wasn't very consistent with the holidays and whatnot. And then everyone started playing club, and then you're playing the game of not wanting to have a kid practice the night before and then turn around and come right back to a gym the next morning, which is tough. That's a tough situation. That's part of the situation I can't really seem to wrap my head around, because I'm not going to be the one practicing 2 times. I'll just be there 2 times, but it's not as physically demanding for me. It's just time demanding. So, yeah, I think, and I had been kicking the idea around. I just didn't pull the trigger because I just couldn't figure out how to make the mornings work. Not that I really tried either. And I regret that. I feel like I wasted September and October, and today's the last day of November. So I feel like I wasted 3 months of, at least, if it had just been one day a week, one morning a week, that would have been helpful too. But I just didn't do it. And, that's my fault for being lazy. And And I would always use the phrase in my head and to people, I'm trying to have a life outside of volleyball and not be so selfish with my time, but also do I wish that I had made the time for that for at least 1 or 2 days a week. I really do. But then I would just tell myself, well, they're playing sand and they're playing club, and so they're getting some reps, and they need to have a life of their own, which is true, but it just seems like it was wasted time. If the goal is getting a banner, and for me it is, but there's no follow through, and so it's got to be something that's together as a group. It's apparent we all want this, and that just takes more time together, which I haven't. Like, we haven't done anything together at this point. It goes like that some years, and that's what kind of bums me out about my personality, is that I'm kind of standoffish and outside of the season, and I wish I didn't treat it just like a seasonal situation, even though it is. They always say they enjoy high school season more than club. I think mostly because you're with your friends that you go to school with, and it's a different type of relationship, I'd say, than the guys you play club with. And you're with each other at least 5 days a week, some days 6, because we have tournaments, and you just get a little bit closer, tighter that way, and then you get to play against the dudes from the other schools that maybe y'all don't get along with as much, or they're just saying that, and some kids like club better. All the good players, I'm sure, prefer club better because they're on an all-star team for the whole town, and then they get to play at a higher level. So, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just speaking out my frustrations with myself. There's nobody to blame but myself. Sure, if I would ask my wife, she would not be happy about it, but she would accommodate. We would figure something out, and but I just haven't. And you know what it's like, to be honest, I don't want to do the extra practice, but I know that's one huge step that we need to do. And I'm not good at deferring or delegating, that's the term, responsibility. I'm just really not. And I think rightfully so. There hasn't been, in a profession where it's not driven by how much you make. We're volunteer coaches doing this because we like it. By we, I mean I've been the mainstay since 2009. Not tooting my own horn, I'm just saying I've been the one coach in boys volleyball at my school that's been like JV or Frosh JV and then varsity. I've just been part of the culture, and then part of the girls volleyball culture since 2011. So I know that it's like the ins and outs of doing all the paperwork and organizing the tryouts, and like that's all. I can't really hand off a lot of. I don't feel like I can hand off a lot of that responsibility to anybody. I feel like it's all on me, and it's definitely feels overwhelming. Pretty much once school starts again. Like I just went to the girls volleyball banquet last night, and I was jealous that that the other coach gets to enjoy the feeling of the season is officially over, because once you've had the banquets and you pass out the plaques and the certificates, and everybody cries and eats food together, then that's a great day in a coach's life, because you really have some breathing room from that point on, which means about 3 months, 4 months. So for me, that's usually the end of May until, if we're talking school starting, like the end of August. So it's like a good 2 months where I feel like I don't have to start doing very much scheduling or getting the contract for the tournament ready and all that stuff. But once school starts, and each month that ticks along, I have a mental registry of what I've done and what I haven't done, and it's I'm a procrastinator. So yesterday I just locked in the final team for the tournament, so that's a big one for me that I got to check off. But it just seemed like it was so slow going this year. Like, just getting approval for the tournament site felt like it took like 2 months, to be honest. Just to back and forth email with this person who coordinates all the events that go in the gym, and I just could not. I mean, I would email, and then it would be like 4 weeks, 5 weeks with nothing. When the email exchange ended with her saying, well, I will contact you when we have this figured out, and then it just never felt. So you have to keep being the squeaky wheel or squeaky mouse. Squeaky mouse gets the cheese, or the greasy wheel gets I don't know. The metaphor meaning you have to keep pursuing what you want and keep emailing or texting and get it. So that took a while, and then just, making sure we were going to get the right amount of reps and this and that, and then ordering uniforms. So it's kind of it's all getting closer now. So tomorrow's December. We're just inside of December. I mean, I've got about a month and a half until, or maybe 5 weeks, 6 weeks until I start tryout. So it's really coming. It's really coming now. So I guess that would be the next biggest thing for me to figure out, is to get the tryout dates situated. And tryouts are really just for new kids to come that hopefully get interested. And I know who's going to be on my team and this and that, but yeah, I'm just trying to get a little bit more quicker on it. Yeah. Anyways, a lot of volleyball thoughts lately, so that'll be consistent, which will be exciting once, I just sent my schedule in today. I think I've got us signed up for all the reps that we need. I've got all the tournaments situated. I'm in the process of paying for my 2 varsity tournaments. I'm starting to get checks ready. Oh yeah, and money. Let's not forget we can't pay for anything without money. So, not the funnest part, but I think I'm actually a little bit farther ahead than I usually am at this point. So, December tomorrow, I think it's gonna be a good one. Bye.